Well, I think if you have more picks, you have a better chance of hitting on players. I think it's pretty common sense. I mean, if you have more opportunities to do something, you're probably going to do it more than other teams that have less opportunities to do something. So that's how I look at the draft. I think we're in the pick business, and if you give me 15 picks, I'm going to nail hopefully a high amount of those 15 picks. That's our goal, anyways. If you only have 7 picks, you only have 7 chances. So anytime you can move back. You know, one of the great things about the Ray Rice trade, when we made the Ray Rice trade, was we would have drafted Ray Rice in 44 when we were back, and we got him anyways. And he was the 3rd round pick that we drafted. I think we used on Zibikowski. So we basically got Zibikowski as a freebie, and we still got the player we wanted. So that's kind of what our mindset always is.
Which, I mean, a lot of people have you linked to Jimmy Smith, and I know there's only so much you can say, but a lot of people have questions about his off the field. How much did you talk to him about that? And, I mean, as much as you can tell us, are you comfortable with what he has said?
Well, we scrutinize everything in relation to these players. There's not one thing. This is a detailed business, and when you take a shortcut, you make a mistake. So we scrutinize everything. We have talked to Jimmy. We've also talked to about 340 other players. And we have a lot of different issues. Some guys have medical issues, some guys have character issues, some guys have family issues, some guys have durability issues. Could be lack of play time, could be positional changes, could be a lot of different issues. We talk about all those issues, and we try to come to an agreement or come to a comfort level with those issues. What I can say specifically about Jimmy is we've spent time with him, and we've yet to finalize the board, so we've yet to make any decisions about any player at all. We'll continue to do that over the next however many days, and we'll make a decision then.
How many guys have you scratched so far?
You know, I don't know the number of that. Honestly, don't know the number. I mean, you know, similar to every year. Some guys get scratched because of character. Some guys get scratched because of injuries. Some guys get scratched because they're not a fit scheme-wise. There's a lot of different, variables that go into scratching a guy.
This was kind of touched on in the presser, but when you meet with a guy and you come out of that meeting, if maybe not the gut feeling, but if you feel really good about a player, is that if you maybe don't have that feeling, would you then shy away from taking that player? Do you really want to be confident coming out of that meeting with the player to feel like you want to take him?
Well, you always want to be comfortable when you meet with a player, but I think some of our biggest mistakes were when we came out of a room and we were comfortable with a player. In the end, it's sort of tape. The tape takes you to everything else. You know, you have to evaluate the guy for what you see on tape. Does he play the way we want him to play? Does he play like a Raven? Does he have all those characteristics to be successful at our level? And if he has those characteristics and he's a great kid, it's a slam dunk. When your best players are your best guys, you really have something special, and that's really what it amounts to. That's our philosophy on drafting players. You try to match that person with the player. You can't always do that. You know, sometimes you got a great kid who can't play, and on the flip side, you get a great player who's not a great kid. And there's always a delicate line, a fine balance between the two.
Eric, is there a temptation that maybe you will go more need because of the free agency situation, or is that really going to be totally irrelevant? Need over best athlete.
We probably have more needs than non-needs, which makes the drafting decision easy. Because if you need everything, you can draft anything. You know, and if you really go through on a piece of paper and jot down what we don't need, it's going to be a small list. So, you know, I think we have the flexibility to just draft the best player. And then if we draft, say, an offensive lineman, then we probably won't draft an offensive lineman in the next round, unless he's clearly the best player. We drafted 2 tight ends in a row last year. So you just look at the best player and you make your picks.
But this year more so than previous years, or is it exactly the same in terms of need versus best player? Is there any more of that?
You know what? We haven't really changed our philosophy on drafting players. We're still going to rank the board. Need always comes in. You know, we obviously take need into account, but it's need based on the other players around it. You know, if there's 2 players close at the same, and one player is clearly a need and one player is clearly not a need, then we're probably going to take the player that's a need if he's close. Now, if there's a huge gap in talent, we're not going to draft the non-need player. You know, so it's a sliding scale. You know, if I can't think of a good example. If there's a quarterback, the TCU quarterback, Dalton, okay, if he's there in the 2nd round, he's a 2nd round type player probably. But if there's another player at another position, he's right next to him, and Dalton's maybe one spot over that other player, we're not going to draft Dalton. We're going to draft the other player because it's not a need.
All right, quarterbacks, Eric. You and the Falcons kind of started this paradigm shift, drafting the quarterback in the 1st round, starting from day 1. They succeed. That's happened in years after. Why does it work in today's NFL where it didn't work nearly as much regularity 5-10 years ago?
I don't really know the answer to that. I think our coaches did a great job with Joe. Clearly, I mean, they got him ready to play. Joe, you know, obviously, he surpassed, I think, all of our expectations at a young age to come in and play as well as he did. And I think Matt Ryan, very similar. Both kids, you know, coming out were very smart, professional, great character, productive in college, you know, had all the qualities that you wanted. And they were able to do it. And it doesn't mean that the next guy that comes in is going to be able to do that. I think they're special guys. And, you know, it worked out for both teams.
Are these kids more prepared, Sanchez, Bradford, I mean, more prepared to play than they were?
I think every player is different. You know, I don't think you can just look at a trend or you look at all these quarterbacks. I don't think it has to do with all of the different players in the quarterback position in college. I just think it has to do with those specific players. And, you know, Atlanta made a great pick, Matt Ryan. And we think we made a good pick with Joe Flacco. And you know, it worked out for both teams.